Hey, what's up, family? We are back for another episode of
Love and Entrepreneurship.
Man, can you believe it is 2021? That is so crazy. That's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
But guess what? You made it. If you watching this, you made it through the craziness of 2020. Woo. I mean, it's been a struggle for us with some of the latter part of 2020. It's
like the latter part of 2020 it was so bad that it just kind of like toppled over all the good stuff that happened in 2020 for us, because a lot of good things did happen for us. I mean, our business doubled actually. We doubled in business. We had books, both of us who had a book come out. We did a brand relaunch, and our new brand was awesome. The photos were totally awesome.
Mm-hmm. You look good.
No, you look good.
No, you look good.
No, you look good. Okay. If you think about all the good things that happened in 2020 before the coronavirus, like the coronavirus happened in March, and we already had January and February was like really good months for us. So if you're online, if you're on the chat, just tell us something good that happened to you in 2020. I know a lot of bad has happened, but we tend to think on the negative a little too much. That's the whole purpose of this particular
You still sharing it?
I'm sharing it.
Yeah, I know for me, I think that's kind of like human nature. A lot of times that we focus on the negative, or the negative becomes amplified over the things that are going well in your life and the things that are exceeding in your life. And I know it was like the summertime, even though in the midst of like the peak of the coronavirus, I still really, honestly, I saw God at work and shifting and moving some things around for us to put us in better position. So every year, and this is what this is about. This is about creating a vision board, setting goals. We do this every year. We've done it for the last 10 years plus.
No, actually, plus, more than 10 years.
Yeah. It's just something that, so there's two things that we do. And if you go back to last year, you can hear me talk about the same thing. Two things that we do. One, we write the vision. And the second thing that we do is we cut the fat or trim the fat. So if you think about pruning trees and things like that, anything that actually is slowing us down or becoming a weight for us, we start to cut it.
You need to cut it. I couldn't resist it.
I knew
you need to cut it.
I knew you
cut it. Cut it. Cut it.
Okay, cut it. Okay. I knew you was going there. So, but it's so important that we prune things, because sometimes things are like a really good idea, but they're not a God idea, or it's not something that we're supposed to be doing. And we put so much emphasis, like somebody say, "Hey, can you join me doing this?" And we like, "Ooh, that's good."
Yeah.
But it's really slowing us down from getting to really where we ultimately should be.
So, long story short, we make a list of everything that we got. Now, this is what you're going to need to do.
Wait.
What?
Before then, we got to do something.
What?
We got to start the show. It's just the intro.
Oh, we need to start the show. I love our theme song. I just can't get enough of it. Wow. Okay, so we have so much to do today. So what I need for you to do is go and grab your poster board. I hope you came prepared. Now, if you don't have a poster board like this, that's okay. So what you're going to do instead is you're going to go to your printer, take out a piece of printer paper, and then we're going to create like a miniature version of it. You might have to draw the picture out for starters. And then when you go to Walmart, go to Dollar Tree, and you can transfer everything over to your larger vision board tomorrow. Okay. So that doesn't mean just because you don't have that and your pictures all, printed out and things like that, don't worry. You still can do your vision board today on a miniature version. You just need to transfer that over to a larger board. And we're going to talk about why it needs to be big. Okay?
Because we like to do things big.
Big. I wish I could play the song, but yesterday I was listening to the radio. I think it was Radio 1, but they were doing a countdown of the top 5 gospel songs of the year. And the number one song was a song by Pastor Mike Jr. called Big. And as soon as they played it, I was like, that's my 2021 theme song. And if you haven't heard it, just Google it, YouTube, listen to the song, listen to the lyrics of the song, and you will see what I'm saying, okay? But 2021 is gotta be big. All right, so we have special guests today.
Oh, we like guests.
We like to have friends over. This is the way that we have friends over in 2020, and now in 2021 is we Zoom each other. So we have some friends over today, and they're going to share different aspects of their vision because we want you guys to see a broader perspective, hear from different people. And today we have our friend, our spiritual daughter, and life coach, Chloe, is in the house.
Hi.
Coach Chloe, what's up?
Excited to get this vision board, and I'm still clipping and snipping and all that.
Well, clipping.
So I am excited to have you on the show today. You have an amazing platform. You are building your brand as a life coach, and I just want to let the audience hear a little bit about why you decided to take the route of a coach, and what do you plan on or expect to do in the lives of those you serve?
Sure. I decided to be a life coach because ever since I was a little girl, I always knew I wanted to do business and ministry. And I come from a strong ministry family, but I never felt called to be like an ordained minister. But my family was like, no, you have to. So I went and got an associate's in business, and I have a ministry degree. So long story short, when I got out, ministry just didn't sit right with me like the traditional way. So I was just praying and asking God, like, okay, what do you want me to do? Because I'm passionate about both, and life coaching is my way of being able to do both of those things together. I'll show you the power up. You might hear my 4-year-old, soon to be 5-year-old in the background. Pooh, go.
That's all right. Yeah, you know how it is.
So, okay. So that was my thing. It's just, it lets me put the two together. So this year in 2021, I've coached a lot of women, but this year my focus is going to be helping high achieving women bounce back from burnout. I think everyone can relate. A lot of people have been burned out since last year, but I find a lot of women, right. But a lot of people, especially I coach mostly millennial women, a lot of them, Timothy, really, I'm so sorry. He does this to me. But what I find is a lot of millennials. are big on getting burned out too. So, and I find most of them I coach, it's not just burned out from the pandemic, just burned out from being just like the cornerstone of their family. I get a lot of first generation Americans. I get a lot from trauma written backgrounds, and they're like the ones that typically who made it and they're successful. But it's just a lot that they never dealt with. So now they're kind of feeling trapped and they're tired, and it's just helping them get that together. So that's my biggest focus this year, is just serving those type of women so they can heal and be happy.
Okay. Well, hopefully we will get a chance to work with you on how to get that vision board in line with what you're saying and then this is the thing. We know what we see, but then our God, the God that we serve, he does exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or think. So I know that what you're saying, hey, that sounds fine and dandy, and God is up there like, and
that probably is going to happen.
I'm telling you it's going to happen. Okay. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's the importance of creating that vision, because,
yeah,
you know, we see one thing, but, you know, God sees something even larger than that.
Yes, yes. So we have, before we get started on our board, we have another guest or guests that we'd like to introduce you all to. These are our friends, or basically our brothers and sisters, because we like tight like that. We're going to introduce Tay and Carrie Walton to the show. Come on in. Come on in.
What's up, family?
What's up, fam? How y'all doing? Thank you.
Hey.
Platform.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, we are excited to have you all here because you guys bring a different perspective. I know we are bringing this perspective for love and entrepreneurship, but we want to hear just a little bit, just a teeny weeny part of what you expect God to do in your life in 2021.
Start off, or you want me to go?
I think the biggest thing is the both of us doing something together for the glory of God.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking, and it's so funny and so fitting that we are on Love and Entrepreneurship, because we are about to embark on Love and Entrepreneurship.
Oh, congratulations!
So, many of you already know Carrie's background. If you want to.
Well, I am a licensed master's level social worker. My background is child welfare. I worked in investigations, private foster care, hospital social work, as well as adult acute care hospital, working with adults in trauma, and also a school counselor now. So that is my background. However, I truly believe that God is pulling me elsewhere. And I've ignored it for quite some time. But I think I needed to deal with some things personally first before I can embark on this new journey. So that's why I started. And so two of us were talking this morning, and I was like, hey, I think we should do this. So here we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's, and just to piggyback off that, I mean, my background, I'm saying, I'm talking to you guys, my bad. You got an audience here.
But you got right, you're talking to the audience, though.
I'm an engineer by, I'm a degreed engineer. But ever since I was a kid, everybody always felt the need to tell me their business and ask my opinion on it. And so it's something that I remember in our old church, we had this thing called shape class, where they determine your shape. I think it's like your spiritual gifts or habits, something. I forgot that acronym, but mine kept coming out to being a teacher, wisdom, and something of that nature of teaching and basically pouring out to other people. And I remember going to the pastor like, hey, man, I took this class 3 times. I keep getting the same thing. What's going on? He said, well, you need to be doing that. And basically he said, I said, but the money. I'm making more money doing engineering, you know. And he said, well, God is calling you to do something else. You got to get out of that. And you got to really work that out of your mind. So 5 years ago, I became a certified Christian life coach. I got certified, but I never did anything official with it. I had 2 people I've coached, and these were friends. I didn't even really charge them. But unofficially, I've probably coached many people, thousands, and she hear me all the time. Yeah. And so that's what we talked about. We talked about, you know, because my angle, I love what is it, Chloe or Chloel? Am I saying that right? I love her angle is in the professionals. My angle is more about purpose, detangling your life, and premarital process. So we got to talking, and we think we can be Batman and Robin on the world right now.
Okay. All right. Well, we just got a little taste of Chloe and the Waltons' vision. So before we get started, we need to understand the purpose of vision. So I am a Christian. He is a Christian. So everything we're going to say and do comes from a biblical perspective. So when we do these vision boards, you got to understand the foundation of why we're doing this, okay? So we all know the scripture in Habakkuk 2, where it says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets so that he who reads it can run with it. Now, I break it down like this. You make your vision board, see, because the first person who needs to run with it is you. Mm-hmm. He who reads it can run with it. But if you don't have it in front of you, how are you going to read it? So the first person who needs to write down the vision is you. And the first person who needs to read the vision is you. And the first person who needs to run with the vision is you. Yep. So you never heard that perspective, huh? But that's how God shared it with us. We're the first ones that's going to be running with the vision. And without you running with your vision, how are you going to expect anyone else to run with you? Okay? So Chris, my wonderful husband, and I want to share with you our board from 2020.
Right, because it's important to see, like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, that, you know, this is something we've been doing for 10 plus years. And so last year made no difference. You know, of course, we didn't know anything about the pandemic, but I want to show you exactly what we did and what God did.
What we did and what God did. That's how he did it. Okay.
Exactly. Let me see if I can put it on the screen really quickly for all my viewers.
Okay.
So you see here, and as you see, mine is kind of, I keep kind of organized with mine, is just how my mind works. But with mine, of course, I put scriptures and things like that on it to actually, let me take, look at that. There's the actual board. Right?
Who sent you a picture of me with my shirt off on there? I mean, what's going on with that?
Hey, when you wasn't paying attention, I got your phone, and I was like, I always call him.
Picture out your phone.
I always call him Hope. You know, he's my inspiration. But on my board, on the board that we did together, you can see right there in the center it says 2020 vision, and then in the center. And you block me out.
You can put the picture back on the screen.
It says in the center. It says helping people see Jesus. So everything that I do, the center point of everything I do is helping If you can see that.
We're gonna show you. We're gonna show it to you close up. Okay.
Right. So in the center, you can see it's at the bottom caption. It says, "Helping people see Jesus." So everything I do is really centered around me
helping people see Jesus.
That's it. So you'll see that I have an e-commerce side. There's this little house at the bottom is our real estate. We wanted to get into real estate investing.
So did it happen?
It did.
It did. It did.
You see
close.
You see right above that is a little laptop, which represents e-commerce. So we got into.
So did we sell some stuff online?
We did.
We did. So these two things, like, we started in 2020. Mm-hmm. So just getting you an idea of something that actually came to fruition versus something that we had already started and it just grew. For example, Opportunity Knots isn't existing. You guys know about Opportunity Knots. It's our existing business, but that business has been in existence for 12 years. And what we had on there was sort of the building. The top, if you look on the bottom right, the second picture from the bottom is a picture of a large building with classrooms. This year, in October 5th,
did we move into a building?
October 5th, 2020, we moved into a large building that's actually larger than that size. And guess what? We paying for smaller than that size. So that was a God connection. I would love to share that testimony with you, but not tonight. Another thing that came to fruition was at the top right, next to the big bodybuilding guy, are some books, and both Chris and I both released our first book. Well, it was Chris's second book, but it was my first book. We both released a book in 2020, which was a big accomplishment for both of us, and that definitely took God to do that. Chris launched his clothing line. That's what the clothes represent. Chris launched his clothing line, Aaron Christopher, and they did sell some stuff, and not where he wanted to be. So it's probably going to be back on the vision board this year.
Mm-hmm. COVID kind of stopped that with production. Of course, warehouses had to. But
COVID did slow down a lot. Of production of some of these things manifesting on our vision board, but it didn't stop everything. We have about 80% of this board was manifested in 2020.
Mm-hmm. So we have music on there. I didn't get my Grammy nomination, but
there was a Grammy. I was like, wow, I got a Grammy on it.
Grammy nomination, so that's in the 20% that didn't happen.
But I did release some music.
He did release some music, yes. We did coaching, of course. We actually got paid for coaching. That's a big difference. You have coaches and then you have coaches. Yeah. And so we launched our coaching platform, and people actually pay us to show us business, show them how to run a business. So that's amazing for us because that's an income stream that we did not anticipate. Okay.
Even though it was on the vision.
We didn't. But I wanted to start the process of coaching, but I wasn't expecting to get as much as we had got. But see, that's the whole above and beyond what I can ask for thing. I'm just thinking I just need to start, right? And some of you guys are thinking, I just need to start.
And trust me, before COVID hit, we were traveling twice a month, going to different cities.
Yeah.
And we had bookings pretty much every month for the whole year.
Bookings.
Some of it did translate into digital, digital speaking engagements. But
we did ended up doing digital speaking.
Yep. And so my picture of the hawk.
And we got paid for that too.
We sure did, of course. My picture of the hawk there is really me just working on, or both of us working on our health and fitness.
Both of us working out. Now I'm like, that's a little excessive. The bodybuilder guy.
Oh no. Chime in on it, see, Tay.
Hey, Carrie be like that too. She's like, hey,
I'm looking like that though.
I mean, I be watching Marvel movies and getting inspired, you know.
Exactly, right. So from today, what I'm going to be doing is actually adding to mine, which is really kind of getting a little bit more into details about, the follow through. One thing I want to kind of really start off and talk about too, before we get into, I know you all were doing some prep and things like that. Chloe, I see she working away, still getting her companies going. I love it. But I do want to talk to everybody really quick and say, there is no secret sauce. There is no magic in December 31st. Most of us get super excited for the new year, right? We're like, oh man, next year I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And January 1st comes around, and guess what? It's the same thing. Because the magic behind it is the work behind it and making it happen.
Because guess what? I was like waking up this morning, I was like, I'm not gonna eat no sugar today. It's a new year. And and a lot of us woke up this morning and was like,
setting them goals,
this year I'm gonna eat right and I'm gonna do this and that. But yesterday, I mean, I can't lie, I had like a slice of cake, a cupcake, and this morning I woke up with that craving. Now, January 1st don't change the fact that that sugar craving is still there. So if I don't put in the work, the WORK, on January 1st, I'm just going to go back to eating the way I was eating on December 31st. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter if you watch this video on January 1st or July 1st. New Year's is the day that you decide. Your New Year's resolution is the day that you make the decision that today is the day. Yeah. Today is the day that I'm done eating all this trash. I'm done, working dead-end jobs. I mean, some of you guys hate your job, but you're doing it because you need to pay the bills. Well, today is the day that you quit working these dead-end jobs and start following your passion and your purpose. Because at the end of the day, what you do, you can say what you want. What you do for God is what's going to last. And that's what's everything else is just burn up in flames. What you do on this earth, if you're not walking in your purpose, now there are some people, just because you work at Walmart doesn't mean that you're not walking in your purpose. So what I want you to understand is the gifts and callings of God, he does not take them back. So if you have a gift on the inside of you, and I was thinking about the movie Soul, if you haven't seen it, and now there's some undertones there that, not biblical.
Eat the hay, spit the sticks.
Eat the hay and spit the sticks. What I want to focus on is the fact that he was born with this gift. And anything that he tried to do outside of that, it wasn't lining up with what he felt passionate to do. Now, the way that he thought that his passion was supposed to be, headlining with certain stars and celebrities, but then he come to realize that his passion was actually in the teaching of music, and not the whole, playing of it. He realized he didn't get true fulfillment from just playing music and gigs every night. And there's a lot to learn from that. But I want you to understand that God wants you walking in your purpose, so that when you go to the cemetery, at the end of the day, you're going to end up in the cemetery. Point blank, we all are. And that cemetery should not be buried with your purpose. You better say that again. Say that louder for the people in the back.
So every day is January 1st. That's the whole
every
point.
Day.
Every day is January 1st. So we're going to make a decision.
Yeah. So the second thing that before we get started, the second thing or the last thing that we wanted to emphasize before anything, you got to understand that this board is not the secret sauce. It is walking by faith and not by sight. It is asking, believing, receiving. Mark 11:24. Y'all got that? Look. I'm about to get into Bible study, but I have to share this with you. Because people keep asking us, how are we growing every year? How are we doing what we do? How is it that all of our businesses are successful? How is it that when we invest, everything that we touch is blessed? How is it? It's no secret to it, guys. Remember that little documentary, The Secret? They tried to say that it was a secret. It ain't nothing but the kingdom of God principles that the world found out about how to use, and now they using his principles in the world. And how the believers not using it?
Because it's a law.
Because at the end of the day, it's a law, a universal law that that is operating in the universe, whether or not you are a Christian or not. If you jump off a building, you can say you don't believe in gravity all you want, but you're going to find out gravity exists. Mark 11:24, real quick. I tell you, you can pray for anything. And if you believe that you received it, it will be yours. But this is the only time you say but when you're talking about prayer. But when you are praying, first forgive anyone you are holding a grudge against, so that your Father in heaven will forgive you your sins too. So before we get started, I know in 2020 they pissed you off. In 2017 they pissed you off. In all these other years they pissed you off. And you have a right to be upset. But honey, I'm telling you, in 2021, if you don't let that thing go, and if you don't forgive and give it over to God and let God deal with them,
Amen.
you will miss out on everything that God has for you, because you feel the right to hold on to this grudge. I know they hurt you. I know they disappointed you. I know they talked about you behind your back. I know they stole from you. But at the end of the day, because you justified in feeling the way you feel, but at the end of the day, you're human. And you have to let them give them some grace. Now, do you feel if somebody stole from you, are you gonna leave your purse in front of them the next time? No, you're gonna still use wisdom, but you will forgive, or this board will not come true for you. Now we've done that. Let's get to the good part.
Nice. Make sure you share it in the link.
I'm gonna take this off silent, so you better be quiet. You understand?
All right, so I want to show you all. No, share the other link.
You gonna eat the rest of your cake?
Yeah. All right, so I want to hear from you all that are joining in. Put in some things that
one thing.
You can flood it up.
Because we got time frame here.
It don't matter. They can put it in the chat. Well, I want people to fill it up, because they can always go back every January 1st. That's the next day, and look at it as a reminder in this chat.
Well, they gonna also do that vision board too,
because you have to put it into the atmosphere. So I also want my friend Tay he's going his. Him and Carrie are actually doing theirs digitally. They high tech. So what are you using to do your vision board?
I can't see it.
Sorry, I'm on mute, my bad. But I actually have, this is called XP Pen. I'm using Microsoft OneNote.
Okay.
And with that is, what we're going to do is we're going to actually take those same principles, just like you see Coach Cloel cutting out on theirs. We've got a number of pictures that we already have clipped from the net, and we're going to put together our vision board. And my thought process is, I want to put these on as a screensaver on my mobile device, on my computers, because this is where I spend most of my time anyway. So,
that's pretty smart.
Gotta go, my boy Willie. Shout out to Willie.
Apostle Tech.
Okay. All right. So,
Chloe, what are you using? Share with everybody what you're doing. Yep. I think you're still on mute.
You're still on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry, new computer, guys. But I have like a smaller board because it looks okay. There you go. A smaller poster board just because a really big one. I'm kind of space conscious right now, so I can put this like at my work desk and it'll fit perfect. So then every morning when I get up, like at the crack of dawn to do what I have to do, it's like right in my face. And I want it to be like where I can kind of see everything like at one jump. If it's too big, then I'll be doing all of this. So it's just will work for me.
That's making it plain right there. That's
very, very plain and simple, especially by
that's the important part. It has to be simple. You see it every day from the time you get up to the time you go to bed.
Right.
So, what do you have? You want to share? I want Ty, you to share some of the things you have clipped. So the premise is to cut it out, the images that you have.
So if you haven't, remember, there's some people that just
have never done a vision board, right?
You've never done one.
Glue.
You're gonna need some scissors.
You want to explain the concept?
You're gonna need some glue. You're gonna need some glue. You're gonna need this is a foam board, but we also have the large poster board. And all of these items you can get from the Dollar Tree for $1. $1. Okay, so
and I think Chloe, to use magazines. I like the way magazines feel. I
used to use the magazines as well. You can use, or if you are a great artist, or you're not a great artist, and you need to use stick figures for now, you can just get a pencil, a pen, crayons, markers. If you have kids at home, you probably have all these items, so you can actually draw it out until you're able to print.
Now you gotta make sure you ask to borrow them now, because they will ask for them back. Mommy, Daddy, why are you using my scissors? Why are you using my crayon?
I just got permission for mine.
So you might have to draw it out on a piece of lined paper or printer paper if you don't have all these tools. But you can go out to Dollar Tree tomorrow, buy the items that you need, and print your images this, and then cut them out, and then it'll look like this board.
And here's the thing: you don't have to be like how I got my stuff lined up. You don't have to do that. You can just
this guy is my brain.
You can put it on there however creative you want. I've seen people put glitter on the back. Mm-hmm. They've put borders around it. You know, you make it as creative as you want, because it's going to help. The whole point is for it to draw your attention and catch your eye. And then when people come over, they're going to be like, well, what is that? Mm-hmm. And now you have a chance to, guess what? Tell the vision to other people.
Right. So if you go back to Habakkuk, the very first part of the scripture says, write the vision. Write the vision. So you want to actually write it down or type it up. You actually want to type it up, what the vision is. So I said type it up or write it down.
She a typer.
You're going to find course. I'm a typer. I can type, you can write. But you will find the corresponding picture to the item that you wrote. So for example, I'm going to use this as an example. This is a picture of a healthy bowl of fruit and salad and nuts. This is basically should be my 80% of my diet should look like this. I said it should look like this. Okay. So, but on my vision, I'm writing down Ty. This is very important. Write it in first person. Do we want to say Ty eats in present tense? This is very important. Ty eats healthy foods daily. So this is what's on my vision board underneath this picture. Ty eats healthy foods daily. And when I look at that, I'm repeating it to myself. Ty eats healthy foods. Ty eats, and if I could even probably get more specific. Ty eats fruits and veggies, 4 servings of fruits and veggies every day. 4 servings of, that's what my doctor told me I need to be eating. 4 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And I could put that on my vision board underneath this picture. Now, if you have something like a dream picture, like for example, this car is a Lamborghini truck. It's a Lamborghini Urus. And this is my dream car, my second dream car. By the way, I'm driving my first dream car. So that car was on my vision board, what, 9 years ago. And I just got it last year, a year and a half, about a year and 2 months ago. So that just goes to show you how long some of the dream things can take to come to pass. But these things, like eating healthy, this is something that I have control over versus a dream car that I necessarily may not have as much control over to get right now based on my income, right? So I can look at that and I can say, well, based on my income, I can't afford this car. Now my faith says it doesn't matter if I can afford this car or not. If God wants me and needs me to have this car, I will have it. And it will happen. And I don't know how it will happen. That's the difference between walking by faith and just walking in. This is something that, okay, I would love to have it. I desire it. But I'm like, I don't necessarily need to have it if I don't get it, because I'm already driving my dream car, my first dream car. I just saw this car and it's better than the car that I have. And I was like, it's amazing. Oh. So just give you an idea of why. But the question is, when do the desire dreams, like when do it stop? Like you always want more. I have an Audi Q7, brand new. It was 2019 when I bought it. And it was brand new, no miles. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually cool with this car right now. Like if I don't get anything else. But then I saw that car and I was like, am I being greedy? This car is $250,000, y'all. Just letting y'all know that the car $250,000. So it's still going on my board.
I think the importance though too is to aim high. When you shoot high,
how do you know?
How do you know what?
If it's God or not?
Good question. So, that question is so detailed. So she asked, how do you know if it's God or not? Meaning, how do you know God put something on the inside of you? There are things that will line up with the direction. So what we always do is see ourselves, because this is what you're doing with a vision board. You're seeing the end and then you're working yourself backwards.
Woo, say it again.
So you're starting from the end and now you're working backwards to how you got to that end. So the way that it lines up is it's going to be things that are on the pathway to where you are going. Like, right? So being an entrepreneur, being in business, most people see the things before they see anything else, right? Mm-hmm. Those are for them, for the world, that's the fruit, right? This person's successful because they have this house, they have this car and things like that. The key is the whether or not those things have you.
Yep.
So for us, we will give stuff away, and we have given away cars. We have given away money because the things don't have us.
Yes.
Right? Those things are really just a calling card for other people. So that now, again, in the center of the vision is to help people see Jesus. So if it's a calling card, I'm now leading them back to this is how I got it.
Right. So let's give you an example. This on the board here at the bottom is a picture of a house, and some real estate closing documents. And so that represents that we were investing in real estate. Well, if I started from there. That's my end. My end is closing on a real estate property. Well, I had to work backwards. And when I went to qualify for the loan, I realized that my credit cards was too high. Actually, all of them were close to the limit. And I was like, man, I got to take care of this first before I take care of this. And I'm telling you now, this wasn't on the vision board, but because I'm talking about my credit cards debt, that wasn't on my vision board to get out of credit card debt. I was $47,000 in credit card debt. $47,000. That is some people's salary. That is more than some people's salary annually. But I did not put it on here because I didn't believe that I could get out of that much credit card debt in 1 year. I had credit cards on my vision board in 2015. We have pictures of all of our vision boards. And that credit card, and I just never got out of debt. I just continued to stay in debt since 2015. Now, my goal was to close on this property, but I couldn't do that with my income, my debt to income so high. So I needed to pay off my credit card. So I went to God. At this point, this is where you go to God, because this is something that has nothing to do with like my ability, because my ability to pay $47,000 off wasn't there. Okay. Especially after the coronavirus hit. Literally, I was laid off just like all the rest of y'all because my business is educational services. So when the schools closed, we closed. I lost tens of thousands of dollars in 1 month. In 1 month when the coronavirus hit. Long story short, all of these government funded programs started coming through the pipeline. And then my business, because one of the things that I used the credit cards for, even though they were in my personal name, was to grow the business. Well, when all those loans and stuff, and grants and stuff started coming through for businesses, one of my businesses qualified for double the amount or triple the amount that I owed on my credit cards. So the first thing I did was paid off all my credit cards. In 1 month, I became debt free. $47,000. In 1 month, I paid it, although it took like a month and a half. I paid them all off. And I was able to, my credit score went from 626 to a 756. And from there, I applied, and not only am I applying, I'm getting like 2% interest because my credit score has jumped up so high. So these are the type of things that was happening. This is proof that God was on my side and God was in my corner. And boom, on November 23rd, which was also a really bad week for me, on November 23rd, I closed on this property, and it was nothing but and by the way, we closed with equity. Okay? That was all God. All God. But I just wanted to share that testimony with y'all to show you how one goal actually ended up taking care of another goal that wasn't even on here. sometimes you got to work backwards and find what else do I need to do to get to that end. Okay. So we got enough talking. We got some pasting to do.
As you know, Miss Ty Woods love to talk. But I hope you got something out of it. So she's
I am talking, honey. I am preaching.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Hey, can I piggyback off something that you said earlier, Chris?
Jump in. This is a conversation.
I just when you was talking about, both you and Ty was talking about the vision and the fruit, and also writing to make it plain. I read a book last year. It was called. It was kind of a deceiving book because it was handed to me from a friend. This friend is real big on stock trading. He's like made a fortune. He's a day trader, works 2 hours a day, and he lives really well. Penthouse suite, Buckhead. He said that's all he does, trade stocks, doing really well. And he said, I'm gonna give you this book, Ted. I want you to read this book. I'm thinking it's gonna be the secret to stock trading, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I add this to my repertoire because everybody keeps talking about it. I'll read it. But the book was called The Science of Getting Rich. And I highly recommend it. I'll give you the author in a second, but I just want you to say that it was not what you think. I mean, even when you see the cover of it, it's like one of those laboratory flask, and like something like the science makes you think science. When really the book is ministry. It actually talks to you about having a vision and the difference between somebody who sees 2020 vision and somebody who sees images but don't see the details of those images. I mean, it's something that we were just talking about today when we went to the gym. Carrie didn't have her glasses on. She said, hey, I can see things, but I can't see the definition of things. Mm-hmm. This book saying basically for you to have a vision and have a clear vision, like Chris said, how you can have something and then work your way backwards. A lot of times people may see, again, the fruit, but they don't work back toward the root to the seed when it took to actually grow to get to that fruit. I mean, and that's, I used to when it wasn't able to connect how I can be given this gift of talking to people about coaching and their life and things like that. When really I was growing up, everything was math and science. And I figured engineering was my passion. But just like the movie Soul, it all made sense because in engineering, your whole goal is to take complicated things and break it down to simple steps to achieve that goal. It's basically how to come up with this concept and make it to reality. That's pretty much what coaching is. If you're a football coach or anything, you got to take complicated game plans and break it down so each person, each member of that team can digest it and be able to execute it. It's the exact same thing with our vision. We got to be able to have a complicated vision. Yes, something that takes faith. It's not, hey, get up in the morning and smile. That's something that doesn't take faith. You can do that, but it's something that stretches you. But then you have to actually be able to break it down and take the steps to get to that complicated image.
Now, you said something that was really good at the end, is that if it's something that we can do on our own, it's too small.
Yep.
That's right. Got to stretch it.
It's too small.
Going to the gym and just walking every day will not stretch you. You got to continue to push yourself more.
Come on.
Push yourself more.
I get to that point, hey, can you spot me with this?
There you go. That's right. Though I'm saying that's real. That's right.
I need a spot.
Yep.
All right. So what we're doing now is, guys, we're going to go ahead and start posting on our boards. Now, as we post on our boards, now I have my pictures already prepped. Some of you may have to print your items. Remember, you are writing the vision and making it plain. Make it plain. We don't need to see your super complicated algorithms. Make it plain, y'all. Make it plain. And this is the thing. The reason why you need to make it plain is because you're not the only one that's going to be running with it. Your family, if you're a man and if you're a man, the head of the household, head of your household, then you need for your wife and your kids to fall in line too. If they don't even know where you're going, how? If you don't know where you're going, how they gonna know?
Yeah. Okay.
And if you're a single mom or you single, look, you need, if you have kids, your kids need to know where you're going too.
Yeah, that's a good example. Like my kids, every time we get in the car, they like, where we going?
Where we going?
Before we leave, where we going?
Where we going? I said, don't worry about it.
No.
Look, that answer, don't worry about it.
It don't work.
It don't work.
Right?
It don't work.
So when people need to get in your car, your vision car, you need to tell them where you're going.
Yeah.
And you got to be simple with this. That's a really good point. Don't get too elaborate with it. You can write it down in detail, and that's something I do too. I write it down in detail, but that's for me personally.
Right.
I can go into. I was talking to somebody not ago about getting an investor for their business, and in this case, their vision was too vague. It didn't have enough details. I said, if you want somebody to invest in your vision, now you need to get a little bit more detailed.
It needs to be extremely detailed.
Yeah.
I know, because I went through that.
So what I'm doing on my board, I'm taking off my 2020. Bye-bye, 2020. I'm taking off, because on my board, most of the stuff I'm actually keeping on my board, because I'm actually going to put more work into making it come to pass.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things that we started in 2020 that just became, it just started being growing into success. So we still, like, for example, the e-commerce store, his clothing line, it launched in 2020, but there's still a lot of inner workings of marketing, advertising, selecting the right designs. All of those things still come into play, where he didn't have as much support in that area in 2020 that he will have for 2021. So this time,
and COVID put a pause on it, but that's all right. I ain't giving COVID no more credit.
Right. We ain't giving COVID no more credit around here. That was last year. This year, it's gonna still happen. Now, last night on New Year's Eve, this has been I guess tradition for us since we met in 2020. Goodness gracious, when did we meet? 2001.
See that, fellas? And they say the men always forget the dates. It was July 4th.
We met July 4th, 2001.
You sure it was 2001?
It was 2001. Okay. It was the year Iverson was born. Okay. So we met in 2001, and in 2002, we started going to New Year's Eve service together at church. Now, that was new for me, because I used to turn up on New Year's Eve. Turn all the way up. But that wasn't my lifestyle anymore. And I'm not missing it. So every year, our pastor at the time would give a word from the Lord of what that year is primarily going to be about. So we decided to tune in to that pastor's service last night. And the thing that he said resonated so much with my spirit that I just said, okay, I need to write down this scripture. And I think those of you who are watching need to write this scripture down. Okay, so where is my phone? Okay.
And while you do that, Chloe, you want to show us some of the pictures and stuff that you cutting out, and hopefully you're pasting.
I even started pasting. Yes.
Well, that could get serious.
My mind is going. I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. So,
and I'm an edge person too. I be like cutting off all the edges.
I'm like, ew, there's like a number of the page right here that has to get off. But
y'all know these vision boards can take forever if you let it.
What you got, Sophia?
This is the hour show, Chris.
So like this, because for coaching, I do a lot of mindset. And so this is like the desired result. Because I remember one time in one of my women's groups, they were saying, okay, describe what you do to like, if you're describing it to like your child. And I'm like, okay, I help grumpy, cranky women be happy. And so like,
girl, you got a business.
and so, and then I have like just a couple of like, kind of like affirmations. Like I have confidence. Of course, I'm making them cut in words that don't belong and just like, oh, this is a sentence and I can make a new sentence.
Exactly. That's dead on. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
And this, like, get snacking, because this year was crazy for me. And actually, you all know me a long time. You know, I've always been thin. But I was like a happy 130 earlier this year. And then unfortunately, I lost like 16 pounds. So I'm gaining weight back. But this is like a reminder to like keep the course, because I'm not getting rid of any of my size 5 jeans. Like, I'm like, we will meet again. Summer of 2021, we will be back together.
We'll be back.
On size 5.
Size 5, that ain't nothing. That's my leg. But for me, it's a big deal.
Exactly. You got to know yourself.
Okay, so what about y'all in cyber world? What have you started cutting your stuff out? Have you started?
They doing clips.
Y'all clippings. Y'all.
Copy and paste.
I'll show it to you right now.
All right.
All right. Let me know if you see that.
All right. Let me go ahead and share.
Are people able to?
There we go.
Put a picture.
There it is. Can y'all see it?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just to give you explanation, right here to the right where you see the words, that's actually what Carrie wrote out. Mm-hmm. And she wrote out, and it's so crazy because I put some of the pictures that she sent me without either of us looking at. She just had her phone and said, email these to me. And I put some of the pictures that I had picked out right side by side with each other. It's kind of crazy because we did this separate, but we managed to have some of the same vision for this year. The 2 of them I want to point out where she's got a couple working out here. And she also has, I have one where the whole family's working out together, which we was talking about, doing family workouts. We enjoy that. We used to go walking and different things. We want to make that more. Matter of fact, Chris, we went walking with you guys. So that's right. Yeah, and we really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
so we want to do more of that and make that a normal routine. Also, she put family outings. That's actually what I got kind of right here, where the family kind of went to maybe a ball game or something of that nature, just family outings. And then on that same family line, I put, you got a lot of different things that are going on, but traditions. I know I didn't grow up with any family traditions. It just, my mom was working a lot. We kind of took care of ourselves. So that's something we want to do. Create some traditions. We got a couple of things that we have been doing. We just kind of want to make them more prominent. Something that, when a certain time of the year comes around, everybody starts looking excited about, like, hey, oh man, we're going to bake some cookies this time of year, something of that nature. We don't really have that. We see a lot of family things that get passed down. That's part of legacy we want to leave too. So we want to get that instituted.
And the other thing that we're going to do together is develop a business together. And so we have that a part of our vision board. There it is, right there.
I don't know if I can see my arrow.
With that picture.
It's the third picture, second row from the left, third picture down, where you got the couple sitting there looking at the computer with 2.
So that would be him doing his life coaching. And to the left of that, you see the black young lady on there with the natural hair. That's me in my. That's me in my counseling session, because I am going to be a grief and loss therapist, grief and loss counselor to mothers who have lost children. And so we're going to combine that together, and that'll be our business together.
Entrepreneurship.
I'm crying for you right now.
I know. I'm taking the steps to prepare for that.
No, that's good.
I'm taking the steps.
Good. That's so good you said that, Carrie, because a lot of times we get these visions that we, believe God told us, or things that have been burning on our heart as passions, and we don't take the prep in order to make it happen.
You got to prepare the soil for the seed to be sown.
Because you could do more harm to your client than good if you don't take the necessary steps to prepare. So that is actually what that's where I'm in right now. I'm in a stage of
all of you guys who's online in the cyber world. We got quite a few people logged in, tuned in on various streams, various platforms. I want you all to know that some of you will need to take steps into going into your dream. I was talking to somebody yesterday, the day before yesterday. They said, I think I want to go ahead. I want to become a realtor. I said, okay, that's the end result. So now let's work backwards. What is some of the steps you need to take in order to be a realtor? Oh, so I heard that you have to take. You're going to have to do a test, a test to get your license. Well, guess what? That means you're going to also have to study for that test. Yep. But there are some classes that you can take in order to prepare for the test. So here are some steps you can take. Or do you know a realtor? Ask if you can shadow them for a couple days.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because a vision without those different details is really just kind of a dream. I mean, what are you going to put together to make that happen? I mean, what are those steps to that? That's part of getting that vision.
Yeah, a lot of people don't see the hard work that goes into the end result. And it's very important that people know and understand that you have to take steps. You can't just jump in. You have to take steps. Otherwise, like I said before, you'll do more harm than good.
Yes.
Perfect example of that is real estate too.
Also, guys, on Cyber World, if you want to jump in and throw out there into the chat one or two things that you have on your board or that you're putting on your board that maybe you need some clarity on. Okay, we got to guess. Maybe you guys can help this gentleman out. He says, I need to fine tune my dreams and get a piece of oak tag or a poster board or cardboard and start on mine. I like the kiss symbol. Keep it simple, son. On the vision board principle. So, are there any steps that he could take?
That's my man, David. God bless him. Basic steps. Again, start with the big idea. You get the big idea, and each way, I guess the best way to keep it simple is try to break it down into smaller steps. What I say is get down to your least common denominator. If I have to break it down into math terms, well, you can't reduce it back to any more. What I mean by that is what is the big idea, then work back to the initial step, then what follows that step, and then what follows that step to build upon what you're trying to get your vision to be.
Okay. So we have somebody else, Rachel. She's working on the board with her 10-year-old and her 17-year-old hasn't started yet. But how awesome is that to be doing vision boards with your kids? You guys want to speak on that?
Train up a child.
Train them up.
Yes.
Train up the child and where they should go. And they will not depart from it. I think that is awesome. Because a lot of times, kids, that could be a family tradition right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a family tradition that she could do with her kids. And the kids will begin to do that as they get older as well. And they can share that with their peers as well. They too need to have a vision and make it plain, just like we do. So I think that would be an awesome family tradition for her to start with her kids.
Yep, she's preparing them for the future.
I like it. I mean, I did a digital vision board last year and I put it on my phone because my hand was always glued to it. So every time I opened it, I was reminded. But one thing, because my son is only 4, but starting even last year, I would ask him, what are some things that you want to do this year or try this year? And so for him, it was like, okay, I want to try sports this year. I want to do soccer. And we actually did. I found him a soccer team and he did it and he committed to it. And I make sure even at this age, like little goals, like last year, he's like, I want to learn another language. So he started Spanish at school. Then he said, okay, I want to try Chinese. And even though he fell out with Mandarin, he tried it for a month. Like he stuck with it for 30 good days. And he just discovered like he likes Spanish better. So that's something that I try to put in him to know, like build up his confidence. And every time he has a goal, I'll say, see, like that's something off the list. And then we'll replace it with something new. And he got a lot done. And it builds up his confidence and self-esteem and, develop a little work ethic in him too, to know like this stuff is not going to fall in your lap all of the time because he's so used to some things coming so easy. So with the things that were a challenge, I'm like, no, we have to stick with it and see it through. And then he has that pride that he saw like the fruit of that thing. So I think that's good.
No, that's really
definitely building character. Yeah. And I actually questioned what age should we include DeLorean. He's 6. And because if I ask him, what does he want to do? He's going to be like, I want to be on a Super Mario course and a Lego. Like his world is so colorful.
It's big.
But I think it is.
Yeah.
It is really good to coach your kids into doing it. And maybe you just start off with one goal, right? And then they get flipping of that, and you write down the steps that they need in order to get to that. You know, Chloe said something really good. You know, just start off with that one thing and work towards that. That will help your child so much to start setting faith and setting their goals and understanding that, you know, sometimes even if they fail, even if they mess up, right? There's a lesson in that.
Here's a hard lesson and a hard thing to say. But the reason why we as adults don't walk by faith or can't walk by faith is because we didn't see it modeled at home.
Oh yeah.
Without question.
Yep.
This principle, what we're doing today and what you're doing online with your kids, what you're showing them so much more. This is more than just building a poster. This is showing your kids how to manifest what they're desiring, what they're dreaming about, and how God is a part of that process.
Yeah, you're really putting things in order. And I want to share a quote that I posted earlier today as I was thinking about, you know, everything that we're planning for this evening. It says, "Dreams without goals remain dreams and will ultimately fuel disappointment."
That's right.
Dreams without goals remain dreams and will ultimately fuel disappointment. Right. So I have a dream of wearing a size 10. For me, that's the first. So plus size starts at size 12. And I have been plus size my whole adult life. And the last time I saw a non-plus size was when I was my first year of college. And so I was like, I would just love to just shop on the regular side instead of the plus size section. Like I go into the store and look, I've already 2020, of course, weight loss is always in my goal. I don't know why, because it should be the principles of keeping weight off. But this year I'm doing things differently. Last year I started 45 pounds I lost. I'm down like 40 pounds. My weight has stayed off the entire year, which I am extremely proud about. Okay. But I still have, the fact is that I didn't lose any more after COVID hit. So I started in December of last year because I didn't want to wait till New Year's to start my resolution. So I was like, I'm about to go hard. I'm about to go in. And I went in for December, January, February, March, even March. I was working out 4 days a week, eating 1,200 to 1,400 calories. I mean, I was doing everything right. I cut out bread, I cut out pasta, I cut out rice, and I had no sugar in my diet. And I dropped 45 pounds in 3 months. What? It's possible, y'all.
That's taking that big idea and working backwards right there. You had the steps.
It is.
So I had 100 pounds, and I had 100 pounds to lose, and I made it halfway there by March. Now COVID just completely threw everything off, but I did not allow myself to go so far into the deep that I pick up anything. So, but I was sick this year when I did gain some weight back, but COVID actually knocked that weight right back on off. So I'm back down to the lowest weight that I've ever been in my adult, I have to say in 7 years. All right. So we're about to get ready to close out.
Oh, I was just going to say that I just like the point that you made as far as like sometimes we, like our kids or like for us as an adults, we don't see people model it. Because I know having, like this year I became a single mother. And at first I was like, what am I going to do? I've been a stay-at-home mom. I'm like running around with my head cut off. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just left my job and supposed to have this startup company. But what snapped me back is the fact, like, I had a mother who at one point she was a single mother. And my grandmother at point had been a single mother. And they both had to move from down south back up to Michigan. Like my mom took us from Texas to Michigan. My grandma had 7 kids and left Alabama and came all the way to Detroit. No job, nothing. So having like their faith, like knowing their story and seeing like how God blessed them and that they were able to make it and they're okay. I was like, I only have 1 kid. Like my mom had 20, like my grandma had 7 back in the day. You know, like, and I was like, if she can leave with 7 kids and she left her house, same thing for me, like left the house, everything in it and just took clothes. I was like, I'm gonna be all right. So
that's real.
I just think that is important. Because some of the best advice I got this year was to find, sometimes when you don't have that example, is to find people who've already done it. Because now we live in such a technology-driven world, you can literally Google like someone's success story. And even though your journey may not be exactly, you can use them as inspiration to just know like, dang, okay, they did it and it didn't kill them. So it's possible for me too.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome.
What don't kill you make you stronger, right?
That's right.
It's a great story.
That's right.
And we have online, we have people online saying, you got this. You got this, girl. You got this. You got a cloud of just a bunch of people, supporters who are your support system, who are going to make sure that you do not fail. I think that's the greatest fear that a lot of single moms are people who are recently divorced, I know people who are recently divorced, who are recently single. I know even recently widowed. Those type of situations where it just completely changes your life.
Yeah.
Those things are when God is there the most.
Mm-hmm.
But your support, you gotta have your support system in place because you cannot do this by yourself.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of people are afraid to ask.
And that's the key, to be like that transparent. Because I know for me, I was like, at first I was like, oh, I'm so ashamed because everyone thought, oh, they have the most perfect marriage. I want to be like them. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do when people find out? And so I found, like, I just hit a point, I was like, I can't suffer. Like my aunt says, don't suffer in silence. Like, I just couldn't. And I was like, whether people are me crazy, I need help. I need support. I need guidance. And so, of course, it's letting the spirit lead you and using discernment, because something delicate like that, you can't tell everybody, your business.
That's right.
But I'm so blessed just for the amount of people that I had. And I snapped back really, a lot faster. But I think it's because I was so quick to go ahead and get the help and put myself in therapy too. Therapy and Jesus. I'm a believer.
Yep. No, that's good. That's good. Sometimes we forget about that.
Too. I had a coach and a therapist when I got divorced. Both.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I had my mentor; she was my coach before, and then I went to Christian counselor. Then I went to a therapist, and I was like, okay, like I just hit all sides possible to make sure one thing for me, and I think that's that, having your heart in check. It's just making sure I didn't want to come out bitter out the situation, and I didn't want to have unforgiveness. So when Ty read that scripture and was saying, like, you have to forgive, that was the biggest thing, because I was like, I have to forgive because I don't want to lose out on anything that God has for me. Just going through the season. And I told Dad Woods, like, last year ended real lit for me. Like, a lot of impossible things happen for this new single mom. And so God is real. Like, but you have to put that work behind it too. Like, I'm a big proponent, so I'm happy you all really let people know. Like,
absolutely,
you'll bounce back stronger.
That's empowering. That's empowering. I mean, some people watching this who have gone through that transition, who have gone through and can tell you. I mean, we got someone in the chat now said, I mean, they have been blessed even more since they became a single mom. So this is something that you shouldn't be afraid of, but I know that it's a scary place because you've never been there before. And anything that you start that's new it's just you've never been there before. But there is a really great quote in that. I want to put this on the screen for you guys to see. I think this is really good. This was posted by David, and you got it on the screen? Okay. Every dream is created twice. The first creation is mental. Every invention, every business, every building, every painting is conceived in the right brain of imagination first. It's nothing more than a single cell idea at the point. The second creation is physical. You can make it obedient to Christ. You just told him.
It's not.
Okay. Is it going down? Okay.
That's not going to go down.
So,
keep reading it.
You can make it. You got to move together. You make it obedient to Christ via blood, sweat, and tears. If your dream is a book, you make it obedient by what? With the keyboard. If your dream is playing professional sport, you make it obedient at the gym. If your dream is making music, you make it obedient. What?
Yes.
Music. You make it obedient one note at a time. Your dream will never exceed your imagination. You can't achieve what you don't believe. So idea generation is important, but idea execution is where the rubber meets the road.
Yep.
That's corresponding with what Chris said about your dream is only a dream until you start executing it out. And idea execution is where we got to go for the rest of 2020. That's a great segue to us getting ready to close.
He's so cute.
Idea creation is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah, I'm glad that David put that in the chat, because that's something I want.
Idea execute. I said idea creation. Idea creation is where it starts. That's this. That's what this is. Idea execution is where the rubber meets the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad David put that in the chat, because that's something that we do overlook. From the chair that you're sitting in, to the screen that you're watching, to the computer, to the phone that you are maybe looking at this on, it all started with an idea. And it took that idea, or someone moving in the direction of that idea, to make it happen. And that's what's so important, is that we have to move in the direction. And this vision board, if you have it posted where you can see it daily, it's a constant reminder that you have to run with it, that you have to move in the direction of that vision, of that idea, in order to make it happen. Because it's not just going to happen because you're rubbing a genie in the lamp. It doesn't happen that way in reality. You have to put the work into it.
Right.
And the more you look at the vision, the more it's a reminder that I should be doing something, that I got to be on this road to my destination. I have to be on this road to my dream. I have to be on this road, not just for myself, because remember, if it's just for you, it's not big enough. Other people should be affected by what you're doing and where you're going. So your dream should be impacting other people, and there's other people waiting for you. When we first started Opportunity Knocks, we knew we were going to have people work alongside of us, not work for us, work alongside of us, because it was going to be a way for them to be able to fulfill their dreams and visions within our dream and vision. So people are waiting on you. People need your help. People need your wisdom. People need your creativity. People need what's on the inside of you that only you can do, that only you can give out to them.
And I know 2020 has been a year that a lot of us want to forget, but I want to read to you, and as we close, my third closing.
That was only 3.
That's my third closing. I want to read to you a promise in Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12. This was read last night during New Year's Eve service, and as soon as he read it, I leaped on the inside. because this was for us. Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12. Come back to the place of safety, all you prisoners who still have hope. I promise you. There's not a lot of places where God say, I promise you. So whenever you see that, I promise you, you better pay close attention. I promise you this very day that I will repay double for your trouble. Come on now, somebody better run and let it go right there. I will repay 2 blessings for each of your troubles.
2 blessings.
He said 2 blessings for each of your troubles. So what was the troubles did you have?
It was a lot.
How many troubles you have?
It was a lot. I don't even count the troubles, but
I had COVID trouble.
Oh, that COVID boy.
I had COVID trouble. Mm-hmm. I had grief trouble. Mm-hmm. I lost a loved one, and that one hurt. That one hurt so bad. But oh my goodness,
we had financial trouble, but God blessed that one too.
We had financial trouble.
Mm-hmm. See, she don't even remember it.
When?
Because we had blessings. Oh, remember we had the auditor?
Okay. Oh, the financial trouble.
Oh, see, the blessing will overshadow your trouble.
Ooh. Yeah, man, we had an audit that cost us 5 figures. But guess what? God came, swooped in, gave us 6. What?
Come on, somebody.
Come on. I was like so nervous. I was so scared.
And what I said, keep the faith. It ain't over.
Oh my goodness. It wasn't.
All things, I'm going to leave you with this quote. All things will work out in the end. And if it's not the end.
If it's not worked out,
it's not the end. All things will work out in the end. And if it hasn't worked out, it's not the end.
Oh, man, we want to thank you all, Coach Chloe, the Waltons, for being on the show tonight and creating your vision board.
Oh, no, what? You still cutting, Chloe?
No, I'm not.
Some of us are going to still be working on our boards after the show, but we want to thank you all for coming online.
Where can we follow you at? Where can your audience follow you? Give a shout.
You can find me on Instagram at Coach Chloe. You can find me on Facebook. Actually, next Thursday, I'm starting a weekly Bible study for Black women called Bibles and Bonnets, because we will be showing up in our headscarf and bonnets.
Yeah.
It's not a regular Bible study. I want to help women feel empowered by the word, and also how to thoroughly read the word. So we're going into Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic text. We're going to get some commentaries on all that. We're going deep. So I'm really excited about that.
It's my daughter, y'all.
And I have Muslims coming. I have Jehovah's Witnesses coming. So I'm super excited.
Hey, put me on the button and join in, man. Oh no,
women and
it's all women. See, I was gonna say the same thing. They going deep.
I had that. Guys were like, "Why can't we come?" And I'm like, just because there's wives coming through and they don't have their robes and stuff on. I'm trying to keep it respectful.
No, that's good. That's good. But it's I like that, because that concept is about transparency, even in the way you come.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love that.
Take care of y'all got somewhere y'all want to shout something out?
How can people learn more about what you're doing?
Well, you can catch me on IG at your_inner_fitness_coach. That's your inner fitness coach. And I'm getting ready to launch on. I'm on Clubhouse, and I've been participating in a couple of panels already. The last one we just did was Black men talking about love and respect. So I'm hoping to launch something about purposeful peace real soon.
Awesome.
Well, find me on Clubhouse, I'm the Paul Walton, and also IG, your inner fitness coach.
Oh, I'm on Clubhouse too. I should find you.
Find you, yes.
Yes,
I'm in Clubhouse.
I need to get in there.
I got to invite Chris if you want one.
All right, y'all trying, y'all take me over. Right.
Chris, your iPhone got too, right? Your iPhone, yeah. You good.
Thank y'all for tuning in. That's all we have for today. We went over the time. This was a special episode of Love and Entrepreneurship. It is 90 minutes in, and we are done with our vision boards. We will share with y'all our vision boards on the next episode of Love and Entrepreneurship. We will see y'all next month.
Make sure y'all take some pictures and share it on the page too. I want to see what it looks like.
And David, yes, to your question. Sorry, to see it. He said, "Is it a vision board in multiple places in your house?" Yes.
Yeah. Put it everywhere you go.
But the most important thing, you should have it on your phone.
Yes.
Because you have your phone with you everywhere you go. Take a picture of it, put it as your screensaver, or put it as a reminder that pop up. I mean, mine's come up as a reminder every single day. I have it as a reminder, the words of it. So I suggest that you put it on your phone.
Yeah, put it everywhere.
But all around your house.
Yeah. We used to have ours just posted all throughout the house.
Yeah. All right, that's it. We gotta go, y'all. Y'all have a blessing. Thank y'all for tuning in.